Good morning. The New York Times recently ran an editorial titled "Send in the Troops." It was written by Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton and advocated for the use of federal troops to quell the protests that have erupted following the death of George Floyd. You're welcome to go to our Facebook page to see Adath Israel's statement on the matter from last week. The outrage against the op-ed was swift and resulted yesterday in the resignation of the New York Times editorial page editor. Within Jewish circles, this piece too has received significant press, with some in favor of the message and its publication, some opposing the message but validating the legitimacy of running it in the Times, while others opposing the message and the publication. For those in the middle ground, the "I don't like it, but I think it is okay to publish it" crowd, their civil rationale is that it is a free society and people can share what they want. The middle ground's Jewish rationale is the principle of Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim Chaim. Both these and these are the words of the living God. It is the idea that a community can hold multiple truths, that they each can legitimately be understood as the words of God. While we recognize, even celebrate the pluralistic nature of Jewish life, ultimately a community has to choose what is within the bounds of legitimate practice and what is beyond it. Concerning a newspaper, they can have a wide range of views while also choosing never to publish from the fringes at either end of the political spectrum. For a religious community, however, the parameters are different. Sometimes, within the framework of adult education, for example, we can and should teach a variety of topics presented from multiple viewpoints. That is something that over the last couple of years I think we have done well, especially with respect to Israel. When it comes to religious practice, though, within the four walls of the shul, often the answer cannot be B, C, D, and E are acceptable, but A and F are out of bounds. Sometimes the choice is binary. In this week's parasha, a group of Israelites are not able to participate in the Pesach offering, perhaps the most meaningful communal worship experience of the year, because they are in a temporary state of impurity. Their desire to participate, however, is sincere, and yet Moses can't find a resolution that will let them participate. His solution? Ask God. The Holy One immediately provides a previously unknown answer. 1 month following Pesach, those who couldn't participate the first time can participate then. In the Bible, our ancestors took God at God's word, and Pesach Sheni was instituted. By the time of the sages, however, even a voice from God was no longer considered binding. Indeed, the story of Elu ve'elu, the narrative that teaches that these and these are the words of the living God, specifically rejects a voice that comes down from heaven in favor of a position taken by a majority of the rabbis. One of the lessons I take from the rejection by the rabbis of God's own voice is that in the post-biblical world, we have to be extremely skeptical of claims that we do what we do because it is certainly what God says we should do. We must avoid language that we are fighting for God, and certainly that God is fighting for us. Rather, our focus must be on serving God. We do that in a number of ways, some of which are in the realm of chesed, loving kindness, though much of it is subsumed under the category of mitzvah, meaning sacred obligation. When we give tzedakah, we are performing a commanded act in which we help our fellow human beings and also serve God. When we stand up for the dignity and equality of all of God's creatures, we are performing the act of chesed, and likely a mitzvah too. And we are also serving God. Finally, we also serve God by living out a Jewish legal process. We might disagree, one Jew with the next, one rabbi with his colleague, But hopefully we can recognize that every rabbi is putting forward a sincere attempt to serve God based on their own serious consideration of Jewish law as the primary vehicle through which we express our love to the Creator. This is important. As Jews, as conservative Jews, we believe that mitzvot are commandments, and that our theology of worship is premised on our observance of these commandments. These past few months have brought forward new questions of religious practice to Adath Israel, in addition to the robust conversation and learning about women and ritual already started. I know that to the right or to the left, whether shifting more liberally or acting more conservatively, rabbinic decisions are always met by some with skepticism and sometimes pain. As I stated in an earlier teaching, we are only commanded to do that which we are able to do. It is my hope that in fulfilling what we can within the realms of Jewish law, that you and I can all be spiritually and emotionally fulfilled. Your clergy are actively seeking ways daily to fill in the gap left by a closed building. It is a new world, albeit hopefully a temporary one. Adath Israel has and will continue to adapt. In the absence of a direct line to God, as always, we strive to do our best to support you, to care for you, to be with you, as we live out our mandate of being a kingdom of priests and a holy people. I look forward to continue hearing from you on this topic as I continue to address it in the future. I wish you all a wonderful day.